You don't have a motivation problem. You have a security breach. You build the plan, you do the work, and then right before you win, you blow it up. You procrastinate on a big project. You pick a fight when things are going well. You get sick right before the interview. That is not bad luck. That is internal sabotage. There's a part of you working against you. And until you deal with it, you keep losing to yourself. By the end of this video, you will have the insider threat protocol. We're gonna find that part of you that keeps sabotaging your success, your shadow, and turn it from a liability into one of your greatest assets. So let me be honest. I used to think I was a good person, like genuinely good. Someone who's patient, humble, and easy to work with. That was the story I told myself, the version I showed the world. But deep down, there was another version of me that I didn't want to acknowledge. The one that got resentful when people didn't appreciate my work. The one that felt secretly competitive, even with friends. The one that wanted more than what I was supposed to want. I kept that part locked away, pretend it didn't exist. Because good people aren't supposed to feel those things, right? But here's what I didn't realize. The more I ignored the side of me, the more it started leaking out in ways I couldn't control. I would snap at people I love for no reason. I would self-sabotage right before big opportunities, procrastinating, picking fights, finding excuses. I would build something great and then unconsciously tear it all down. And for the longest time, I thought I just had bad luck, or that I wasn't disciplined enough, or that something was wrong with me. Then I learned something that changed everything, from studying how we handle insider threats in the defense industry. The biggest security breaches don't come from outsider breaking in. They come from insider who feel ignored, suppressed, undervalued, and eventually they go rogue. They start leaking. They start sabotaging from within. And then I realized that's exactly what I've been doing to myself. That part of me I was ashamed of, the ambition, the competitiveness, the selfishness, I have been suppressing them so hard that they went rogue. They became the insider threat, sabotaging my own life. That's when I stopped fighting myself and start learning how to recruit those parts instead. It's time to secure the facility. We're going to run a counterintelligence operation on your own mind. Here are the 3-phase insider threat protocol. Phase 1, the clearance audit. First, we need to identify your cover story. In psychology, this is called your persona. It is the public-facing version of you, the unclassified file you show the world. I'm always helpful. I'm always calm. I'm always humble. I don't care about money. I'm not competitive. These sound familiar? Here's the thing about cover story. They require you to redact part of yourself. You black out the trait that don't fit the image, the aggression, the ambition, the selfishness, the part you are ashamed of. But those redact parts don't disappear. They just become hidden intel that you can't control. They go underground and eventually they start leaking. Here's a tactic, the Polygraph Check. I want you to write down your nice person traits, the things you pride yourself on, the image you project. Here's some example. I'm always there for people. I never get angry. I am not materialistic. Now, flip each one, because your shadow, your insider threat, is almost always the exact opposite of your persona. If you're always helpful, your shadow is probably secretly resentful. You say yes, but inside you're keeping score. If you're always humble, your shadow is probably secretly arrogant. You act modest, but you're furious when people don't recognize your talent. If you don't care about money, your shadow is probably secretly obsessed with it. You judge people who have it because you want it. If you never get angry, your shadow is probably quietly raging, and it comes out sideways. Passive aggression, sarcasm, withdrawal. The goal of this phase is honesty. Brutal, uncomfortable honesty. Your cover story is cracking. You're not as nice as you pretend to be. None of us are, and that's okay. But that repressed energy, that's why you snap at your family. That's why you sabotage yourself right before success. That's why you can't seem to get out of your own way. We need to identify the leak before we can fix it. Phase 2, asset recruitment. An intelligent word, when we catch a spy, we don't always eliminate them. Sometimes we flip them. We turn them into a double agent, someone who now works for us. The same principle applies here. Your shadow isn't evil. It's not a flaw you need to eliminate. It's just raw energy without a mission. It's fuel without an engine. The trait you're ashamed of, they are not weakness. They are assets that haven't been given a job description yet. And here's how we flip the spy. For example, rogue aggression, when recruited, become drive and tenacity. Rogue greed, when recruited, become financial ambition. Rogue manipulation, when recruited, becomes strategic thinking. Rogue selflessness, when recruited, become healthy boundaries. Rogue arrogant, when recruited, become confidence and self-promotion. The shift isn't about becoming a different person. It's about giving your existing trait a new mission. Stop saying, I shouldn't be so aggressive, and start saying, I'm recruiting my aggression for negotiation and competition. Stop saying, I shouldn't be selfish, and start saying, I'm deploying my selflessness to protect my time and energy. What you need is a monster to fight monster. Stop trying to kill yours. Put it on a payroll. Phase 3, control detonation. Phase 3 is all about deployment because you just can't unleash your shadow anywhere. That's how people get hurt. That's how you burn bridges. You deploy these assets strategically in the right context at the right time. And here's the tactic: targeted exposure. So let me give you an example. Let's say your shadow is selfishness. You spent your whole life being a people pleaser, saying yes to everything, letting people walk all over you. And now that suppressed selfishness has been leaking out as resentment, passive aggression, and quiet burnout. Here's your mission: the time block defense. The next time someone asks you to do something that eats into your priorities, a favor that derails your schedule, a request that benefits them at your expense, you tap into that shadow. You look them in the eyes and say, sorry, I can't support that right now. My resources are allocated elsewhere. You just gave your insider threat a legitimate kill. It got to be selfish and a control appropriate way. You protected your time and energy, and nobody got hurt. That asset is now working for you, not against you. Here are more examples of tactical deployment. If your shadow is anger, deploy it in the gym. Channel that rage into a workout that leaves you empty. If your shadow is competitiveness, deploy it in your career. Use it to outwork your competition instead of secretly resenting your friend's success. If your shadow is greed, deploy it into building wealth. Stop pretending you don't want money. Go get it. If your shadow is arrogant, deploy it into self-promotion. Stop waiting for people to notice you. Promote yourself. The key is intentionality. You are not suppressing the energy. You are channeling it. You're choosing when and where to deploy it instead of letting it leak out randomly and destroy things you care about. That is controlled detonation. That is emotional intelligence. That's how you stop sabotaging yourself. I want you to do something uncomfortable right now. Think about one trait you are ashamed of, one thing you keep redacted, one part of yourself you've been pretending it doesn't exist. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's selfishness. Maybe it's ambition you feel guilty about. Maybe it's competitiveness you think make you a bad person. Now, ask yourself, if this trait was a soldier, what mission would it be built for? Give it that mission today. If you have anger, go destroy a workout. Leave it all on the gym's floor. If you have greed, go close a deal. Make the ask you've been avoiding. Stop treating these parts of yourself like enemies. They are not. They are assets that have been waiting for orders. Remember, a secure facility has no dark corners, no classified files rotting in the basement, no disgruntled employees plotting revenge. Everything is accounted for. Everything has a role. Everything is working towards the mission. And that's what we're building here. Not a nicer version of you, a more integrated version of you. One where every part of your personality is on the same team. Light up the shadow, recruit the agent, secure the breach. Now, I want to know who's doing this work. Comment secure below if you're identifying your insider threat today. If you're ready to stop fighting yourself and start recruiting the part you have been hiding. I want to see who's clearing the facility. And if this hit different, if you need to hear this, hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. We are building a community of people who are done with self-sabotaging and are ready for self-mastery. Your support helped this reach someone else who's been fighting themselves without knowing why. And there are a lot of us. Remember, recruit the shadow, command the mission. Forge strong and thrive on, my friends.